What is happening, guys? Happy New Year. Welcome to another episode of Comic Book Weekly. Of course, I have my co hosts with me. We have Brant from Only Good Comics.
What's up, everybody? Happy New Year.
And then, of course, we have Kat from Comic Uno.
Hello.
Yes, guys, we're going to have a pretty decent show. I think today what we're going to do is we're going to go through the comics first. There wasn't that many comics that came out. Honestly, I think I only read 8 comics.
Yeah, I was in that
total.
zone.
Yeah, it
I
was
think
8
I had
or
like
9, yeah.
9. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think probably our number one is probably all going to be the same. If I
Cool.
had to guess,
I
you know.
think so.
But yeah, so we're going to go ahead and dive into it. We'll have a good show for you. I want to welcome everyone that's on the show. Like I said, hopefully you guys had a wonderful holidays. We got people talking about need that Arkham book that's coming out tomorrow.
Yeah.
That thing
That's
has
the big
been
one.
hot.
Mm-hmm.
Well, because I feel like everything's been so hot from the line, they're like, oh, first appearance of this. And even like
Yeah.
the crossover, that was, we obviously wouldn't have talked about it here. So we'll, talk about it quickly. But even the Wonder Woman and Batman crossover was a lot of fun. They've just been doing great stuff. And we're going to talk about the numbers they've been doing later on. So I'm excited for it too. I think that is, and you guys correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't pick up every series, but I think that's the big book tomorrow. I don't know if there's any other ones that are huge besides that.
That
do
is
a lot
the
of fan
biggest book. I
favorites.
know there's been people already, like some people already got it from shops, which is not a good thing. People saying that it's going to be selling online for like $60 tomorrow.
Wow.
Like, I don't know what it is about that book that's generating all that buzz, but yeah, there's a lot of people excited for it.
Yeah. I'm trying to look up and see real quick, but my computer's going slow. But anyway, yeah, no, I don't. I mean, there's books like Batman and stuff like that, but as far as like really big books, I think that's probably it. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of continuing stories, I think, tomorrow, which is great because there's a lot of books that we
Yeah.
really like. It's something in the end of the show you'll say, which I think is the first time ever. I think we all have different books. I'm going to double check. But yeah, we actually all have different picks this week for our most anticipated, which I think we are all anticipating Arkham End.
Mhm.
But we all try to be a little different too, because like the obvious one, like one of us should pick. And then we're like, okay, let's try being a little different. But yeah,
Yeah.
we'll get to that to then
Right.
to there. But I think we're gonna dive into the comics. The only thing I had to say about my comic haul is, and I was telling this to Mike, I couldn't get Punisher Red Band. My store either forgot to put it in my pull, and I didn't. I was talking, I didn't see it, or they didn't have it. And then I tried
Yeah.
going on Comixology to buy it, and it wasn't
They don't have-
available. So
Yeah. The same thing happened to me. I didn't get it either, and I realized like earlier today, I was like, "Oh crap, I didn't get this book." And I looked it up. They don't make digital versions of this book because they can't
it's Red
control.
Band.
Yeah, well, they can't control underage kids buying it on like Marvel Unlimited and stuff, so they don't make it. So
That
yeah,
must like screw with their sales so
Yeah.
badly.
you
Like
would think.
that's crazy to hear. Because like think about a video game, right? Like if you get Call of Duty or Resident Evil, whatever, what's controlling people to go on their Xbox and buy that digitally? Nothing. So like what's
Yeah.
the problem here? That's so weird. And yeah, I couldn't read it digitally because of that. And like again, aren't you cutting off your legs like half of your profit? That's also a free profit because digital comics, the reason why they are successful, especially to people who to publish comics, it's free money. Like printing a book costs money to do. So like if you sell it digitally, unless you're on a Comixology or something, like you would probably give a percentage to Amazon. But like
Yeah.
if you're selling a digital book,
Basically
it's
free
like
money,
pretty
yeah.
good profit. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's
So-
crazy.
I know. And it's like from what I understood, there are other Red Band books that have got in digital edition, so I don't understand the reasoning for Punisher, but
That's
somebody
crazy.
can tell me if I'm wrong about that. But yeah.
Brett, I could hear what you're saying, but you're going a little slow. Is there tabs open on your side?
I've got just the docs open for the show and StreamYard.
That's so
Probably
strange.
just my internet. I apologize.
Yeah. No, it's cool. I mean, we can hear you. That's all that matters.
Gotta love internet, man.
I know, right? But I think we're gonna jump into our. Do you want to start with Ultimates? I have to get off camera for 1 second, so if you guys want to start there.
Yeah, that's fine. So yeah, guys, all right, we're gonna dive into it. We're gonna talk about the comics this week, and like we said, there wasn't that many of them, but there was a couple of like supposed like big books, I would say, and you would think that like Ultimates was a big one, and then Ultimate Endgame was probably another big one, and I think it was told that you should read Ultimate Endgame first, and then read Ultimates, and I think that's how it was supposed to go. Um, Out of the 2 books, I actually liked the Ultimates better because it focused on Janet and Hank, and we finally got the history of Janet, what happened with Hank, and we got introduced to a new character at the end, which is not a surprise. We're still introducing characters, but that character that was introduced was pretty badass. I actually really liked it. But the Ultimates was the better book for me than Ultimate Endgame. Ultimate Endgame was okay, but I wasn't like blown away. I was actually kind of, I don't know. I'm not sure if I was disappointed or I need more from it, but I didn't expect Death Head in there, and I didn't expect the Maker to be like this planet or part of
I
this
didn't love
tree.
that. Yeah, it was so weird. The one thing about
The
Endgame
city.
too,
He became the city. Yeah.
yeah, he became the city. And the thing with Endgame that I again didn't hate. I think it was like my number 6, but what I feel disappointed by is I think it is that this thing is ending that doesn't feel like it should end. So I think that's what feels strange. And obviously, and I didn't get this. This was really interesting. So I don't know if you guys got your blind bags or not. A lot of people got damages in their books, but I didn't get damages for my books. I don't know if you guys got blind bags or not, but mine are actually fine. But I heard a lot of people got damages, which I'm sure didn't help the excitement either.
There was a lot of spine ticks on the books. Mine, I think I got 2 of them that were fine, and then I got 1 of them that were that had a few ticks on it because I bought 3 blind bags.
And how many ticks did you have?
There was a few on there, real small ones, but that was the biggest issue of like that everyone was complaining about. Like every single one that people got had these little spine ticks on them, and that's what you would see. Some of them can be very tiny where you could overlook it, but if you look at it closely, you might be able to find them on certain covers.
I have one I'm looking at now that has it, and then the other ones, yeah, there's some small ones. You're right, actually. I didn't look. There's one, the wraparound, which was the first one I looked at, doesn't have it. Like my wraparound has nothing. But yeah, if you look at the Peach Monroco and you look at the other ones, they have ticks, which is so like, how did that happen?
Yeah. I had one with the Spider-Man and Wolverine on it, and it didn't have a single spine tick on it. But then I got another one that from the blind bag, and the blind bag was the one that had the ticks on it. So one was like I put on my FOC as a particular cover, and that was the one that was fine. But the one that came in the blind bag, go figure that's how they did their blind bags, where it was like a lot of the open order covers you could get in the blind bag, and that was the one that was damaged. But it wasn't bad. It wasn't like, blaring damage. It's just little ticks, and it is what it is. It happens. It just sucks that it happened across the board. So you get people that are paying money, they don't want damaged comic books.
That, and also, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think this is Marvel's first blind bag in this saga of blind bags. I don't remember them doing another one. Obviously, they've done blind bags in the past.
Yeah.
But I mean, in this wave of blind bags.
I think this was their first one.
So having such a mishap is great. I know they have Daredevil coming up, and that one I question. I probably will get blind bags because why the hell not? But like, is that a big enough book that you're making blind bags for?
I know.
The X-Men one feels bigger to me. The X-Men United book feels bigger.
Right. Yeah. So I don't know, but the overall story, it was fun. The Ultimates for me was the better book than Ultimate Endgame. I still need more of that to see if I will like the end of the story there.
I mean, I'll definitely be getting more of it. Yeah, it's so hard and we'll talk about this obviously when we talk about 2026, but when you have such a good event like DC K.O, or at least a build up to an event, obviously we don't know how it ends, but like feeling that or what's going on with Absolute, and then having the one thing you really like from Marvel being the Ultimate Universe, and that be like, actually, let's just do this instead, which I don't think anyone really asked for.
Yeah.
So, Bran, is your connection better? Did you have thoughts on Ultimates?
I don't know. Am I still on the delay?
You're a little delayed, but we can see you and hear you. You're a little delayed.
Okay, that's not as bad as it was a minute ago. So that's something. I'll try it for a minute, and if it gets bad again, I'll go off and come back on. I pretty much agree with Mike's comments. I thought Ultimates was better than Ultimate Endgame. I did like the character reveal at the end. With Endgame, I was just expecting, like you said, something different, something more. Just didn't quite hit, tick all the boxes for me. But yeah, Ultimates was decent. It was decent. It was mostly Jan's story, but I kind of like the way that was told, the way that she was obviously a traitor, but she was doing it for what she thought were the right reasons and all this stuff. And ultimately she gets betrayed in the end too. So, typical story like that, but yeah.
Gotcha. All right, cool. Kind of change the subject here. You guys ready for the secret episode of Stranger Things tomorrow?
Is there really a secret
episode? No. Did you guys hear about that?
That's the rumor.
There is
Conformity gate. Yeah. You've not heard about this?
No. I guess I've been offline too long.
Yeah.
I saw the show, like that counts or anything.
The past day or so, people are just like all these conspiracy theorists, like, oh, this has happened. Did you notice this happened and that happened? And there's going to be a secret episode tomorrow, and they're pointing out all these clues.
Yeah.
And as you were watching this, you're kind of like, well, what you're pointing out like makes sense. And then it
does make sense, which is the crazy.
And then you're like, I kind of want this to happen, because if it actually did happen, it'd be like the greatest thing ever to happen in a show, like a secret episode that you didn't think existed.
Yeah.
After the finale, I'll say the odds probably not big, but that's cool if that does happen. I'll give them the props, but that's interesting.
Without spoiling anything, it was because of the way it ended. I think a lot of people are not crazy about how it ended, and so they've convinced themselves that all these clues, which do make sense, a lot of them are logical, conclusions, but they're hoping for this alternate ending, and for some reason they've stuck onto the date January 7th. So
yeah, it's weird.
Even though they're putting,
he froze.
Say, even though they're putting out a documentary. So anyway,
you're saying that there's a documentary, and that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, the Duffer Brothers are putting out a documentary on the show, the making of it, all this stuff, the secrets revealed, and all this stuff on the 12th. Yeah.
Oh, I mean, that's fun. I like that.
That's next week. Yeah.
You guys are tapped in more than I am. That's cool. I did not know that. I think that'll be fun. I like a good documentary too. So I think that'll be good for the fans. And I liked how they released it. I feel like it was a good timing for the holidays. That way a lot of families got to go see it together. Like my parents had never seen it, but because me and my brother came together to watch it, they're like, oh, I'll watch it. They watched the whole final season. They were not lost. I'm like, that's crazy to me. I'm glad you liked it.
It was fun. Lisa and I went over to her brother's, and we the whole family went over for New Year's Eve, and we played games and stuff. But after they all left, we stayed. We turned all the lights off. We got popcorn. And we just made it like a movie night and watched the whole finale together. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, no, it's fun. It's fun to bring people together. So
we watched like 3 episodes at a time. That's kind of like the way we did it.
Oh, that's smart. We tried watching it during the breaks that it had, but the last episode of that second part, we had to put into the third seating we had, and I don't think any of us went to the movies. None of us went to the movies for it. They were all like sold out.
Yeah, there wasn't like many theaters by me that
No.
played it, so we just stayed home and watched it.
And they only had the one day, so
Yeah.
I think they could have been a little smarter with that, but I had a good time with the ride. Was it a perfect show? No, I never felt like Stranger Things was ever a perfect show. So I'm just like, but yeah, I had a good time with it. Like I said, I'm just glad it was a show that brought a lot of people together. I think that was the most important thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, if there is a freaking secret episode,
that'll be awesome.
Crazy.
The main problem that Lisa and I had with the finale was they claimed that they were going to wrap up every plot hole, every plot point, and every tie all the loose ends. And neither one of us believed that they came anywhere close to that, but that's okay.
No.
Yeah.
There's some spin-off material, but
right. Yeah. I had so many hours to tell.
All right. So there's our little Stranger Things talk. And so we'll see what happens with that secret episode. All right. So let's go on to Feral, issue 19. So pretty good issue. You wind up getting the whole situation with Elsie as she's trying to make a decision on what to do, and we wind up seeing her leave Pet City or Pet Supermarket or whatever place it is that she's at. But pretty interesting stuff that goes on in that issue right now.
City,
yeah, Pet City.
Am I delayed again?
Yeah, I think it might be worth trying to go on and off to see that if that helps.
Yeah, we'll see. All right.
Oh, I want to hear Brant's opinions.
So what'd you think of the episode?
Yeah, no, I liked it. The issue. No, I really like this arc because I feel like it's really like all that point A to point B issues is led to this point, and now we're getting a lot of that drama, which is really good. But yeah, I mean, and I'm sure you have more expertise on this, but it reminds me a lot of The Walking Dead, like at the show and the comics of what I've read, where it's like there's slow parts, but then when it's really good, it's good. And obviously they're both like zombie type stories. They do a lot of settings that are similar, but in a cat way. But and again, not much of a spoiler to say, but like this is by far my favorite comic of the week too. There's just like no leaps and bounds compared to Feral this week.
What this comic does so well is the character growth. When you look at the characters from where they started and where they are now already is totally insane. Like, for instance, look at Gigi the cat, right? The one with the mother with the kittens. Like, look at where she was, and then look at Lucky. Like, Lucky you thought was like, oh, he's this cat that's going to help them out. And now he's become like this. He's like the governor of The Walking Dead, and it's kind of crazy. And you have had death along the way, and then now you have this, what is it, this infected that's in the city itself, in the pet store in itself, and the others don't know that except for Lucky himself. So who knows what's going to happen with that whole situation as well. So there's so much that can happen with this story.
And I feel like it's a series that has just scratched the surface. I know that they're going to have a Stray Dogs crossover thing, I think in like a month or two. So that's going to be fun. But yeah, it's great. All right. We have Brant back and he's moving better. So I think this is going to work. So Feral.
Yeah.
You're moving a lot better.
Okay. Good.
Yeah.
So what do you got to say?
About Feral.
Are we still talking Feral? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a fantastic issue. I really enjoyed this one. The whole conversation between Lord and Elsie, and kind of how, Elsie's like, let's get out of here. And Lord's having this, crisis of who does he follow? Who does he trust? And all this stuff. And with all the bad stuff. He still kind of chooses against, Am I back? No.
We got most of what you were saying. So we got it. But so was it your favorite issue you feel of the week? Was it like a standout to you?
Oh yeah, it was definitely a standout of everything that we got this week. I mean, it obviously was a much smaller week, but yeah, of everything else, this was probably the best read. I think this, you know, well, I guess I just gave away my number one, but you know,
I'll say I gave mine away too. That's why I
yeah,
asked.
I
Because
mean,
yeah,
mine's
we were
number.
all
That's what
kind
we
of giving it away.
predicted at the beginning of the show that this would be
exactly,
all our number one.
yeah, of course.
That's funny. All right, so let's just go on to number 5. I don't have a number 5. I told Kat at the beginning of the show, like yesterday before my family came over, I put away the comics, forgetting that we had a show today.
That's funny. Oh well, you know.
So it is what it is. So Kat, what's your number 5?
Mine, out of honestly, there wasn't a lot of books, and I just thought the art was good. Was the Tin Can Society, and the ending was okay, but definitely in a different week, this wouldn't have been in my top because I do feel like it's a book that kind of went on for too long, kind of lost the plot along the way. But I did like the art, and I'm glad I finished it. I just think it could have been a lot stronger of a series.
Gotcha.
I
What do you
mean,
got, Brant?
it took so long for Tin Can Society to finish too, and it just
Yeah.
it killed all the momentum. I really liked the beginning of it, but yeah, it just kind of ended with a. I won't say it ended with a whimper because there were elements of it I liked, but yeah, I agree with you. My number 5 is Radiant Black. Not the best issue of the series. Still better than the Catalyst War, but I liked kind of how they're rounding up people and kind of doing that. So that's a little interesting twist to the supporting cast and all of that. So we'll see where that goes. But decent issue. And another week, it probably actually wouldn't have made my top 5. But there you go.
No, I felt the same way with Radiant Black, where I thought it was a decent issue. It's still one of those series I've been picking up for so long. That's why I feel like I keep getting the next issue, but I don't know if it's impressed me for a while. But there's like little things I like about it. Like I like his
Yeah.
girlfriend being kind of like part of the hero stuff. I'm like, oh, that's interesting to see like how that dynamic is. I still
Right.
like some of the other characters. I like the art a lot. So I'm like, all right, what is it to just pick this up? Rogue Sun I dropped though. Like I dropped pretty
Really?
much everything but Radiant Black. Yeah, it was going a little slow for me. So, and I love Ryan Parrott's writing, but I just I don't know that it's just like it's hard to have a universe for that long, and then not be Spider-Man or someone that's people already know,
Right.
So yeah, but I agree. In a different week, I don't. It's in my top 2, but not as.
Yeah, I still read Rogue Sun. I really.
You like Rogue Sun?
I could tell I was super delayed, so don't even worry about it.
No, I would like to hear
I
those.
think-
So you liked Rogue Sun better than Radiant Black?
Right now, yeah, I think it's a stronger series. Ever since the sister got the abilities to, I just think it's been a better book. There are still slower. I think I might restart my internet and see if that fixes it. So I'm going to go off again.
That'll help. We
Yeah,
did
that
hear what
might
you were
work.
saying there.
Okay, cool. I'll be back.
All right. So here we go. We're going to talk about Sorcerer Supreme issue 1.
Yeah.
So
We were talking about that one.
that happened.
Yeah. I wouldn't
In
have
the
gotten
comments,
this.
did you guys read this book and what'd you think of it?
I wouldn't have gotten this if it wasn't for the light week. I just don't think it was for me. And when Brant comes back, we should circle back with Sorcerer Supreme just because he's the only one who's been reading Scarlet Witch.
Yeah.
So I'm more curious from his point of view because I'm guessing it's a follow up from that series. I will say I was not lost, but I was like, where's the hook? And then also I felt like it was stereotypically what Marvel does in their issue ones. It's like, here's a fight. Here's kind of what the point is. And then here's a cliffhanger where she's going to fight someone. Like she's going to fight another person that's a big villain. Like every Marvel issue 1 feels so similar and has such a structure that is kind of boring.
I don't know. There wasn't anything there that made me want to be like, oh, let me get into Scarlet Witch. Right? And it's kind of like, and I guess in the beginning, does she go to Doctor Strange's place? Like, doesn't she live there
I think
now?
so. Yeah.
So like, why can't we just get Strange going back to where he needs to be? Like, if I wanted to read her in Doctor Strange's place, like, that's just kind of dumb to me. I don't know. Like, I get it because I guess she's the Sorcerer Supreme, but I don't know. I just couldn't get into it. Maybe it's just because I've tried every other volume of it and I just couldn't get into it.
No, that's how I felt too. And I if it wasn't labeled Sorcerer Supreme, would I've gotten it? Probably not. I'm not the hugest Scarlet Witch fan. Like, I think she's a very good character, but it takes a lot for me to want to read her solo books just because they're so magic heavy usually.
Yeah.
Which I don't tend to like. But the one thing I will give is I thought the artwork was decent. I like the style of it. I thought the coloring could be better, but I liked the art style, and that made it, because a lot of times you'll have kind of like this type of story and then also the art is not flagship. So at least I'll give that. I think that the art was stronger here, but I mean, I don't know. I was saying this to Mike. It sucks that this was such a heavy Marvel week and I really wanted something to stand out and it just didn't. And again, one book I couldn't even get, like they wouldn't sell it to me. And then the last week we didn't get to talk about it, but we could talk about it here. I was more impressed with Norman Osborn's Spider-Man issue. Like, that was so much more fun than stuff coming out here, which I'm happy to say I enjoyed a Spider-Man book more, but it's just like, get me excited for something again. And again, I have some of my fan favorites. Like, I like Spider-Gwen a lot because I like that character a lot, and I think finally someone understands her. So I'm not trying to diss all of Marvel. There's definitely good books out there, but a lot of their new issue ones have not hooked me. Unless it's a character I've already loved and a creator that you can kind of like trust to do that character. It's really hard to get into like a Scarlet Witch. And I think Marvel needs to do better at making it for everybody. And I just don't feel like they do that. Or not. I don't know if I want to say everybody, because not every book is for everybody, but at least try to hit people that haven't been reading Scarlet Witch previously.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't know, making her Sorcerer Supreme is the right way to go about it, you know? So I don't know.
Mike Manhattan says, did you guys know Sacrificers is ending at issue 21? You guys have been reading it. Do you feel like it's dipped in quality, gone up in quality?
No, I think it's really, really good, and it's taken a crazy turn. Just it's still a really good book, you know. You look better.
Okay.
Yeah. You sound
see
better
what happens.
Too. Hope it lasts. But we were talking about Scarlet Witch, and we in Sorcerer Supreme, we obviously want your opinion because you're the only one who's been reading that series.
Yeah, it's funny. I could still hear you all when I was trying to leave, and I heard y'all go, yeah. And I tried to say, I love that book.
We did. Yeah. So you loved it. That's good.
I mean, I've loved the entire Steve Orlando run of this character, and this is the natural progression of the character. I've followed her journey, and I could understand coming in, not having read all of that. Yeah. And especially both of you, neither of you really like the magic side of Marvel anyway. I don't typically. But for whatever reason, I really like his handling of Wanda's character. And yeah, so I really like this book.
I'll say that all that matters to me is that, because I was curious if it was good to someone who had been reading the run. And if it is, then they're doing the same thing they were doing. And you know what? If you're picking those people up, me and Mike don't have to be part of that.
Yeah, it maintains an audience, and it doesn't grab a new audience. Yeah.
I don't think they should have renumbered it then. But
well, I mean, it makes sense in this case specifically. Maybe not the previous, because it was the same kind of story. But in this one, she leaves the shop behind, and the last store gets destroyed, and so this is the next chapter. So I could understand this one restarting. Maybe not the previous three.
But, yeah, there was a few of them.
Yeah.
Mike Manhattan next. You guys going to watch The Beauty? I'm going to watch the first episode because we all read the book for a good chunk of it. So I'm curious what that's going to look like. I can't promise because I don't even think I finished the comic, but I'm curious to see what the first episode will be.
Yeah.
Where is it on?
FX. So I don't know where it's going to stream, but it's on FX as a channel.
Gotcha.
FX stuff typically went to Hulu, which will now be Disney Plus.
So probably Disney Plus.
Yeah.
And you're much better, Brant. We could hear, understand, and your time. Well, I must have just sometimes you have to reboot your internet.
Yeah.
I really wanted your opinion on that. So I'm glad the reboot didn't take too long.
Yeah, me too. I'm glad. I thought it was going to take longer, and I came back and it was like, oh, it's on.
And if it is FX and Disney Plus, so maybe we'll talk about it when it comes out if we all end up watching it. I know I do another podcast called the Legendary Ladies Podcast where we used to review Legends of Tomorrow, but now we just like kind of do all of media, and we're gonna review the Beauty issue, episode 1, which is why I know I'll at least watch the first episode.
Nice. Yeah.
All right. Cool. All right. So let's go on. Let's talk about these these craftacular books this week. We got this.
Did we do number 4s?
We're gonna do that now.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I got you.
Yeah. So why don't you go ahead and start with that?
I misunderstoed. I thought you were talking about the next books on the list for craftacular.
No, just a continuation of all the craftacular books.
Yeah. My number 4 is Predator Kills the Marvel Universe.
That's mine too.
Yeah,
it was good. It just wrapped up so quickly.
Yeah, it was like all that lead up to, okay, Kraven's gone, and we've saved the world, and now we're all this stuff. Yeah, it happened very fast.
And they're spinning out another book, but it's written by someone else. It's actually
it's not Benjamin Percy.
If you guys watch Good Mythical Morning, he's an actor that's on that show, which I like him. He's cool. Yeah,
which one?
He's Con Candy Randy.
Oh,
so
really?
He's writing it. He's a comic book writer. So he's written a lot of Archie stuff before. So now he's like dipping his toes in Marvel. So I think that's kind of cool.
That is really cool. Lisa's a big fan of that show, and I've watched a good amount of it with her. So I definitely know who that is. That's really cool. I'll have to tell her. Maybe she'll check it out.
Yeah, I met him at a comic book, like a Comic-Con, and I was like, "Oh, that's cool that you write comics." And we talked. Like, "Oh, I'm a big fan of your show because like when I'm chilling, not making comics, I watch Good Mythical Morning." But yeah, he's writing it, so I'm curious about that. But the series itself, for me, the reason I like this issue. And again, it's a 3-star. Like, it's not, I didn't love it, but I like it because I knew what it was. Like, it is just a popcorn flick. Let's see Kraven die and whatever. Like, it's action, but it's enough story where it's not just mindless action. So I like this more than Ultimate Endgame because of that. Because Ultimate Endgame, I don't feel like knew what it was. This, at least, it's like, all right, it's selling me what I needed to sell. So, I like this issue enough, and I'll continue the Predator stuff. For the most part, I don't know if I'll get like just Predator, but if he's crossing over with the Marvel Universe, I'll be picking it up.
Yeah,
I thought it was fine. I mean, I give Benjamin Percy, when you look at everything, the whole thing was an entire story. When it goes to Black Panther, Wolverine, Spider-Man, like it all built up to that, So overall, I think he did a good job with the series. So it took him a whole year to tell the story.
Right. It might be fun to like have the whole thing and read it together and see how.
How that would be cool.
Yeah. So hopefully they release it like that.
I feel like it would sell well if they did. But
yeah,
it'd be cool.
All right.
Well, you didn't have a number 4, so.
Yeah, I don't.
You only know your number 1.
Yeah, it was number 1 was Feral. Yeah. Okay, so Age of Revelation finale.
Does anyone really like this arc? And again, this is not me being like bitchy about it. I genuinely want to know because I want to know if you liked this story, did you like this issue? Because when I was reading it, I'm like, yeah, maybe if I really like was invested in this world, I would like this. But I'm just like not invested. Like, get me out of here.
It just. It feels like such a poor sequel to Age of Apocalypse to me. I mean, it just, I don't know. I really didn't care for the whole thing. Obviously, none of us really did, but the finale was kind of a whimper. This one I will say it went out in a whimper a little bit. So, and the way it ended, it does make me curious about X-Men, and I'll talk about that more later, but yeah, I don't know. It was like all that build up to end in that way just felt like, okay, again, Tevia, you're right this time. What was the point? So.
No, and I don't disagree. That was always been my biggest problem with the Revelations. Where I'm like, well, how does this affect anything?
Yeah.
Yeah, there might be something that
Yeah.
happens in the other books for a little bit, but overall, I don't think, you know, I don't know. I mean, so what? So Cyclops can sit there and go, "Oh, well, this might happen in 10 years in the future, so I got to make sure this doesn't happen." So they could reference that, but I don't know, man.
Yeah. I agree.
It was just a weird event, and I don't
Just
think
killing time.
anybody really liked it, right? So
Yeah.
The only one I liked was Iron and Frost, and I thought they dropped the ball in the ending.
yeah, I would
They
agree.
kind of dropped the ball on a lot of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I don't disagree.
The one Kitty was in, she wasn't even in the last issue at all.
I know when she was in the cover. I'm like, what happened to her?
She just disappeared, literally.
She's phantom.
All right, so we talked about Tin Can Society, talked about Predator. So all we got is now our 3, 2, and 1. So just go ahead. I'll go Cat. Just list your 3, 2, and 1.
3 is Radiant Black. 2 is Mary Sue. And I'll talk about that in a second. 1 was Feral. The Mary Sue, I think we always talk about fun palate cleanser books. That's how it feels to me. It's just a really fun book about this girl who brings her fan fiction to life, and it's not great for her. And it's like a cool slice of life book. Again, would have been in my top 5 in another week. No, but if you're looking for something that's just kind of like fun, I like that one. So that's my number 2.
My 3 is Sorcerer Supreme, 2 is Ultimates, and 1 is Feral. So we already talked about all of those.
Cool. So I think obviously we're going to talk about our main topic, and I do see a comment that
That's an interesting comment.
Yeah, it kind of ties us to our main topic, and then we'll talk about all the news. But I do want to mention this. So Cherry Talks Comics and Entertainment says, "Hey guys, Happy New Year's. What book will you predict to be your favorite X-Men titles and Spider-Man titles by the end of 2026?" Obviously, we don't have every title in front of us, but X-Men, I'm really hoping to like X-Men United. I think this could be a good potential. I like the writer. I like the artist. So I really want to like that. Spider-Man, we were just saying that. I really hope that the Norman stuff picks up and we just like keep getting really good Norman stories. I don't know if I have hope for Peter right now, but I'm also really, and we'll talk about this in the overall, but I'm really excited for the Venom Spider-Man crossover. That's like, if they can nail that, I think that's really important for Spider-Man, because I think there's a lot of cool character work you could do there that I think Spider-Man kind of needs.
I'm excited for the Spiral event from Spider-Man.
Yeah, the Venom. Yeah. That's the Venom one, right? It's called Spiral.
Some Death Spiral or something like that. Yeah. So I mean, I am excited for that event because I feel like we haven't had a big Spider-Man event in quite some time. So I would say I'm excited for that. When it comes to X-Men, I want to say I'm still most excited for Jed McKay's X-Men to see what he does differently.
Yeah.
And now you have Tony S. Daniel on the artwork, so it's different from Stegman.
Which Stegman does not fit for X-Men. He did this book, The Age of Revelations, and it was not his best.
It doesn't work. The characters seem so big in the panels. It just doesn't work right. So we'll see.
Because there's so many characters. Usually he focuses on one character and is able to do more detail with that.
Right. So
wasn't 10 Deaths a Spider-Man event?
No.
Not really, because it was only one series.
Right. That was just a large arc.
Yeah.
It was, and it was tied into One World Under Doom. Type of storyline too. So it wasn't a true Spider-Man of.
Yeah, like crossing over between multiple titles and all that.
Right.
I don't even know.
I know it's hard.
I'm hoping that some of the events this year will kind of reset some of those characters. Like, I'm hoping, I don't have a lot of hope for Armageddon, but I'm hoping something comes out of that will give us something to cling on to with X-Men and various other characters throughout that. But I don't know. The Spider-Man Venom thing I'm looking forward to. Venom and Black Cat. that kind of thing. I don't know. If Amazing Spider-Man could get back on track, of course, I'll be excited about that. But we'll just have to see. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Now
a hard
that
question to answer at this point.
right, especially for those two franchises.
Yeah.
But yeah, going into our main topic though, what are our expectations for 2026? And my expectations that DC will continue to blow it out of the water. I think they're building to something really big with Absolute, and you can kind of tell now that they're like kind of finally crossing over. But what I love, and some people are getting a little antsy about, is that they're building. They're not like, here's everything in one issue. It's like you're taking your time that we could tell years of storytelling, which I think is really important. And the indies, I just think the indies are going to continue to kill it. And I think what we need in 2026 though is Marvel to step up. And I would like a Runaways book. If I can't get Marvel to step up, can you just give me characters I really like and just give like rainbows and like give us, if you can't have the whole universe be great, give us like the Donny Cates Venoms, give us the Immortal Hulks, things that are like specific runs that are good, or again, fan favorite runs like Runaways. That's kind of what I'm looking for. And I'm hoping Iron Man's going to really help the universe, because I do think that's going to be a really good series. I hope.
I would love if they bring over Joshua Williamson, right? Like they did to Iron Man to kind of kick things off. Like, and it would be funny if they kicked off the next really big Marvel comic and it's Iron Man, just like it would for the MCU, and then it kicks everything else off for Marvel.
Yeah, if they brought him in to do kind of the stuff that he's doing over at DC with Snyder and company, that would be really cool. Like if he was the next architect or whatever, that'd be awesome.
Well, I was going to say that. I think that's what you need. The reason why DC is successful is not because Jim Lee is like, oh, let's do this. It's because Scott Snyder stepped in. He's like, I'm a creator who's been in the trenches here. I know what works and what doesn't work. I've succeeded and told good stories and sold books. I'm going to kind of craft this. And I think that's what happened. And I think that's what they were trying to do with Hickman's X-Men, which was successful. But then obviously Substack happened. Who knows what was happening with payments behind the scenes. So like, just treat your creators right and like give them good roles because they know what they're doing. I think Marvel's just got to trust that and make smart business decisions. Again, like that Punisher Red Band thing kind of blows my mind. Like, don't you want to make money? Like, do things to try to sell your comic books. Like, make your comics important again, honestly.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I say stop with the limited series stuff and just get something that's going to last for a little while that people can get excited about. Because when you hear that something is a 4-issue series or 5-issue series, it's kind of like some people don't want to invest in that,
Yeah, for sure. I don't have a problem with like telling stories in volumes if they're longer arcs. Like the Scarlet Witch one is a decent example of that, because most of those volumes were like 10 issues, 12 issues, whatever it was. And it provides the jumping on point for people, but it still tells that cohesive story throughout it. But there's something to be said for an ongoing series, an ongoing story that just kind of pulls you in and keeps you locked into this underlying plot that kind of keeps driving it. So I don't know.
I just want things to feel big again too. I think that's been my biggest thing, because like we were just talking about Ultimate Endgame. It's like, it's mid, like it's not bad, but it's also not the greatest. And I just want something to be like, wow, can you believe you did that? Like, remember the days when something would happen in a comic and it was like a news story? Like I can't even like, what's the last thing that happened at Marvel that's a news story? Honestly, besides like Mary Jane becoming Venom, that's a cool thing that probably would have been in the New York Times. And I do like Venom. But like, do daring things like that. Yeah, you might not be happy. Not all your fans are gonna be happy, but you're doing something, I won't say different, but you're doing something. And honestly, that also just means story, because Absolute Batman, he's not dying every day. He's not getting a new suit every day. He's just telling a good story,
Yeah. I mean, it's almost like they need to take a step back and just be like, and this, I don't mean this to be a kind of a rant on events against events and everything, but they do kind of need to take a step back, tell good stories with all the characters, and then maybe let a year or two go by and then hit us with this massive event that is world changing, and do it that way. and maybe that will kind of boost some interest again and
Yeah.
inject some energy into the universe again.
And I want to mention Death Spiral because it's one of the only series we've all mentioned that we're like, oh, I'm really excited for it. And the reason I'm excited is because they've been building up to it, honestly. Like Mary Jane's been Venom for a while, and Peter and Mary Jane haven't talked. Like, that's interesting to me. Venom and Spider-Man have not teamed up for a couple of years now. I'm like, that's interesting to me. They're tying it with Black Cat, which has been a successful series. So, like, that's the reason I'm excited for that event. Make more events like that. Build things towards your events.
Right. Yeah.
And that's how, like, when you look at it, that's how DC K.O, you know, did it. And then when you look at the independents, like, look at how they've been building the Energon Universe and look at how they've been doing it in Ghost Machine as well.
Yeah.
There's a way to do it. It's just, I don't know. I think the cheap way out is to do it the miniseries way. I'm not saying don't stop them completely, but majority of the stuff that came out from Marvel last year was all miniseries, or they restarted their comics.
So a good example is like, at least me and Brant, we really liked Hellcat. That came out a couple of years ago. Like, that was a miniseries that felt really unique. And if it was gave a little chance to it, really promoted it, could have maybe made people's pull list, but they're just like, it's a mini series, who cares, you know? But that felt distinct. That felt like a cool series. And it's hard because I know DC does mini series too, but somehow it's still kind of successful. And I guess it's because they put so much power in their ongoings that are flagships.
Exactly.
So like your Aquamans, your Spider-Mans, your Supermans. So the mini series that are a little off kilter, they're successful too. Because you're like, wow, I really like Batman. I'm going to get Batman Nightfall or Night Fight. I'm going to get this. I'm going to get that. It's just, I don't know. I think we just need a strong Marvel to have a strong comic.
Yeah. To your point, I'm sorry, Mike. Just real quick, to your point, Kat, you need like that strong Amazing Spider-Man, that strong main X-Men book, that strong main Avengers book to be kind of your basis, and then build around that. Yeah,
right. Sure. It's like the Red Hulk book for me was really, really good. It was 12 issues and it ended, and it's like, well, if you just continued that book, I probably would have continued on reading it. Because Benjamin Percy wrote that book and it was a lot of fun, but it was tied to the event. And once the event ended, the book ended, you know? Yeah. So
and it didn't go anywhere after either. So it feels like, oh, I've read Red Hulk. Cool. How is that going to tie in somewhere? And then it just never does.
Yeah. Even though, you know, that story does technically continue in Will of Doom and, you know, the Doom related stuff. But they could have totally kept going with his individual story. Yeah. And you brought up the Energon Universe a minute ago, Mike. It's like we're 25 issues into some of these series, nowhere near an event that's crossing them over. When they eventually do that, and they will, it's going to be so massive. And the anticipation for it is going to be so huge that it's going to kill it. And I miss that. Yeah.
And that's how you have to do a crossover. That's why, again, I was just talking about the Wonder Woman and Batman crossover. Absolutely. It was so small. But it's just like we're 12, 13, 15 issues in, I think, of these series now. And this is the first time they met. That's really cool. Like, it took that long to kind of get them to meet. And it's a small little meetup. Like, they'll obviously have more later. But I really like that. There's a couple again, I don't want to shit on Marvel completely. Like, obviously, there are good books out there. Moon Knight, Daredevil, Incredible Hulk. Those in particular for me, because I read Incredible Hulk. I'm glad they're doing this new chapter because that one slowed down a lot for me. I don't read Moon Knight, and I couldn't get into Daredevil, but I like the series that are a little bit more personalized to my taste. You know, like I really like that we have a good Spider-Gwen book that makes me very happy. I really liked Runaways, but it still doesn't defeat it's still we've been saying. I still don't think that corrects this is that you need to make Spider-Man, Avengers, and X-Men good for people to be really excited about these kind of smaller series, because those are 3 smaller series.
Yeah.
And even the ones I mentioned are smaller series.
Yep.
So, I mean, any other that obviously we talked about Marvel a lot, but I mean, DC, I want DC K.O just to land. I think the one negativity I had towards DC K.O, and I'm curious to see where it's going to go, is it's been a little predictable so far, just because of the winners have been very predictable. So I'm curious. I want that to stick the landing, which I think it will, but obviously, let's see what twists and turns they have, and just like honestly keep doing what you're doing because like I'm excited for everything. Even the new titles they have coming out, like
that's what I was
Batwoman,
gonna say.
like those all look really exciting.
Yeah, no, they do, and it's like I never expected every DC K.O tie-in to be like so fantastic. I expected some, but even the ones that I don't like as much, I still enjoy. And it's I
Or you can
wanted
see
to
why it's there. You can see be
right,
like, oh, it wasn't for me, but it's this is for this audience,
or
you know?
or you are hoping that you picked a possible winner.
exactly.
So it does a
Yeah,
job at keeping you engaged and wanting to read it because
yeah,
you picked that person on that bracket, so you want to see that outcome.
right, yeah, for sure.
So
But
Is there
no,
anything that you feel like DC has been doing wrong, or like is there something you really want from DC this year? And also, I keep saying this because I don't know who's new to this podcast and who isn't, but I will continue to say all three of us are bigger Marvel fans than they are DC fans. All the criticism that's here is because we want to see Marvel succeed, not because we want to dog on Marvel. Because I would love to have good Marvel books. That's what I want. I don't want to complain about Marvel.
No, I mean, we're passionate fans, and we want our favorite stuff to be fantastic. But honestly, DC has killed it this year.
yeah, they did.
And as a primarily Marvel fan, it's seeing that and being so enamored with everything that they've been doing. I mean, there's like very little that I didn't enjoy from DC, and it was just personal taste. It wasn't that it was bad stuff. Like absolute Martian Manhunter was not for me, but I could see the appeal of it.
Right.
So
and the artistry behind it too, because it's like so specific.
Right. So I don't have a lot of critiques for DC recently. I can't say the same for Marvel, unfortunately. But yeah.
And then I think that leads us to indies. And I think for me and for comics, I think my criticism and what I want to see more of is just more different stories in indie comics. I think there's been a lot of the same voices that have been good stories, but I want to see something. I just want to see like what I really loved about like Kill Your Darlings. Like those two creators kind of came out of nowhere, and it was just a great book. And I want to see more of that. And I want to see more avenues where publishers promote stories like that. The reason that got promoted was because Ryan Stegman was behind it. Like he that was his brand. So I want to see more of that. I want to see stories that I don't normally see in comics. I want to see, I just want to see different types of stories, I guess. And because I love my action books, but I want to see different genres. I want to see romance. I want to see comedy. I want to see, I don't personally want to see sci-fi, but sure, sci-fi. But like, I just want even more diverse books. And I think we've been getting that. I just want to see that even more. And I want to see voices uplifted that haven't been.
Yeah, I think there's some interesting things on the horizon. I'm curious. One of our news stories we'll talk about more later. This Archie Oni thing. I'm curious about that.
Mm-hmm. A lot of newer voices there too. People have just started to become popular.
Yeah, Image across the board with all their different imprints and everything. They've just been doing some really cool stuff, and I hope that continues and they continue to experiment and throw out some more stuff. I see a lot of Kickstarter books in solicitations, and that's really cool. I don't read a whole lot of those, but I think it's really cool that they're getting more recognition, more exposure, and that kind of thing. So I hope that continues to grow. So Mike, go ahead.
I mean, I don't have too much to say. I when it comes to the indie side of things, and DC, honestly, like for me, DC, this was the best year that they've had since I started reading them in the New 52. So I can't sit there and say, oh, I want more from them. I just want them to maintain. I never thought they would hit this type of level of storytelling, in my opinion, when it comes to DC. When it comes to the Image, or not Image, or just indie in general, same thing. I think these past couple years, they've really upped their game, and there's something there for anybody. So like whether you're a Spawn fan, a Transformers fan, a G.I. Joe fan, Ghost Machine, with the new imprints, and then if you like some of these other stories like Beneath the Trees, right? Or you got this new volume of Beauty, the Devil on My Shoulder story that just came out. Like, you got all these different types of stories, Nemesis. There's so much to choose from. And I think that's why people are gravitating towards independent comic books because there's so much out there. There's so much variety. And I think that's
And a
why
lot of
people,
passion too. There's like
Yeah.
yes,
passion behind
and
those stories because they
Right.
want to tell these stories.
right. And I think that's why people get tired of the big two because they're tired of the superhero book or they're tired of the same stories being told and there's nothing new because maybe editorial doesn't allow those characters to grow, you know? Um, and I think finally DC did something different, something fun, something engaging, like
Yeah.
where Marvel just is just, I don't know. For me, it's just like, how many times do we need to reboot a series? Like we talked about already, like Scarlet Witch. Like, why do we need to go for 4 volumes of this, within so many years? Like, I get it. You want that new number one, you want people to jump on board, but
But
I
then
don't
make it
think
new
that's the
reader
way to
friendly.
that
Then
it's
make
just
it for
not the way to
everybody.
do it.
That's true.
So it's just frustrating in that way. But when it comes to Image and all the other indies out there, I think there's a lot to choose from, and it's great. I absolutely love it.
It's interesting because Mike Manhattan says their corporate mascots are not allowed to grow. But I look at books like Superman and Batman, the flagship books. And sure, they're not like putting Batman with a gun or Superman's not a different character, but they allowed them to tell different stories. And that's what I think we all mean by like, let these characters grow. Just like do something different, right? Just like make it feel new. Like, have we seen Lois Lane with powers before? Yeah. But has this been the best version of that? Also, yeah. Also, you
Yeah.
keep telling stories with some of the best artists in the game. You're gonna have people wanting to pick up your books. Like having Dan Mora, and I don't know how he does it, on like 5,000 books and still be perfect at all the art he's doing is so great. It just, and then you see, and again, nothing against Ryan Stegman's art because I love his art, but then you see Ryan Stegman on X-Men and try to sell it, but it's like, oh, this doesn't actually fit. But if you actually had him on Venom for 2 issues or Ultimate Spider-Man, give me a mini series or Ultimate Venom, put Stegman on there. Like, let's do that. That's more interesting to me because that's like what fits his style. So yeah, I think there's a lot of great things happening in comics. We have a lot of news stories that I think we're going to jump into now that also talks about the 2026, where we're going with stuff. Before, I do want to talk about some Kickstarters. So I have one Kickstarter I'll shout out this week. If you're looking for new type of comics and things that you don't get to see in the direct market, this just launched yesterday. It's our Beast and Snow finale. It is Snow White as a vampire, Belle as a werewolf. They get together, and the Evil Queen is a vampire werewolf hybrid. This is some of the artwork you could get from the books. If you like action, twists and turns, and build up in your stories, I think you'll really enjoy this one. It's one of our favorite series, so go check that out. I will put a link in the comments. Now, let's get into those news pieces. I think we're going to start with the media news, and then we'll go into comics. So, media-wise, we have 3 trailers for Avengers Doomsday. We have the Captain America trailer, the X-Men trailer that came out today, and the Thor trailer. And interestingly enough, and again, not to continue to dog on Marvel, but like, no one seems that excited about the teasers. They're all kind of making fun of them, saying like, "Oh, everyone's coming back for Avengers." I do hope it's good. One thing that got me excited, less than the Thor and Captain America ones, was X-Men, because I was like, "Oh man, it's been a while. I want to see them. I want to see how they're in this universe."
I didn't even know this came out today.
Yeah, there's an X-Men one where it's just mostly Charles Xavier giving his monologue, but yeah, I mean, I it's one of my most anticipated movies of the year. I don't know if it'll be my favorite movie of the year, but I hope it brings Marvel home, and I hope that it makes the universe exciting again.
Yeah, I mean, I do too. And it's like, from what I understand, this is kind of basically a sequel to Endgame, which, yeah, I'm excited to see like what this does for the franchise, because you're bringing back all these older characters, but you've been setting up kind of, taking the universe into the next stage. So I'm curious how they're bridging that gap and what role these characters are going to play. I'm still curious about this Tony Stark, Doctor Doom figure and all this
Sure.
stuff. So yeah, and Valeria. I mean, not Valeria. Franklin Richards is a key part of this as well. So that's going to be interesting. So yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I see the trailers and I hear that music and I'm like, oh, it gives me the chills, you know, but
yeah,
I think it's cool seeing these characters come back, and I think that's what honestly, that's what people wanna see, so
yeah,
and that's what I wanna see. I wanna see how these guys are back and really what this movie truly is about. Like,
Mhm.
I
yeah.
couldn't even begin to tell you, you know, how we got to this point and why it exists to begin with.
And that is exciting, keeping it under wraps, and I hope they do for a while because
Yeah.
I want to go in this movie knowing nothing.
Yeah.
Speaking of a trailer, I was really pleasantly surprised by was Wonder Man trailer because I was not planning on watching this show, and I was like, all right, let me just see the trailer. It's here, and like something about Hollywood, whatever. Because I've never really read much Wonder Man in the comics, and then I saw this, and I'm like, oh, this kind of like feels like a critique on superheroes as a TV show. And I actually really liked the trailer. I think I would give the first episode a try. I feel like it felt upscale Marvel, and it felt like it had a tone to itself, which is what
Yeah.
made the Marvel TV show successful. And also it's been a long time since we've had another Marvel show.
Yeah, this one seems like it's going to be fun, which
Mhm.
I appreciate. And you've got a little bit of like the nervous actor and doing the vocal exercises and that kind of weird stuff. And but he secretly has powers that he doesn't know he has and all this stuff. So it's going to be really interesting to see how they play it, um, especially with Ben Kingsley reprising that role and all that stuff. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think
Curious
it's
how many people will watch and
I
are
know.
actually excited for
yeah,
it, right?
Because he's such an unknown
Yeah.
character. He's not
yeah,
really a fan favorite. I don't know. That's a good question. I think it really depends on how much buzz that first episode gets. If first episode's great and people are like, "Oh my god, you have to watch this," I
It'll
think
be
it'll do
word of
very
mouth,
well.
yeah.
But if it's not, the pilot's not great, and it's one of those build-up shows, I don't think it will do good.
Yeah,
mm,
I agree.
So, next up, our last media news piece is that speaking of indies, we got now Tiny Onion, which is James Tynion's company, going into TV, which he's going to be doing the Woods World Tree, and that's developed for animated slate. And this just means good stuff for comics. Like, I hope this means good stuff to indies. I like seeing someone who built themselves from the ground up, make this big company, get his voice into Hollywood, and hopefully means spreading the love to all comics. And again, I haven't read these titles as much, so I don't know if I have much to say on that regard. I don't read that many James Tynion titles, but I'm happy for what's to come with them for sure. Like I'm most interested in something killing the children because that one
yeah.
I felt like I just missed the boat on, and I think I will like. But the other ones I read a few issues and they just kind of weren't for me.
Yeah. I'm just really curious to see how World Tree translates to
Mhm.
animation.
Yeah.
I'm just really curious.
It's just
about
weird, right?
that. Yeah. But yeah, it could be really cool though. I could imagine it being kind of psychedelic. So really curious about that one.
I think it will be cool. I
Yeah.
mean, it's a good thing regardless,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. Yeah. For sure.
So something we mentioned, we're going into comics. Something we mentioned earlier was that Stray Dogs and Feral is getting a crossover in March, I want to say. So I think that's pretty cool. I think that's a good way to like cross franchises. Maybe if Feral fans have never heard of Stray Dogs, and obviously just fans for both to be like, oh wow, I get to like see them together. So I think that's cool, and I think like they waited long enough in a good way too. So
Yeah.
I don't think it's a ploy in any ways.
Yeah, no, I'm really excited about this actually. So I mean, I think this is going to be fun. It's like Stray Dogs is what kicked off everything for Fleeks, I think,
Mhm.
and Barrel has been such a good book that I don't know. This feels like something that's been a long time coming, and I'm really excited. So I can't wait.
Yeah, I agree. I felt like it was like doomed for this to actually happen. It's just
Right?
like, especially like if this apocalypse is going on and they cross each other's paths and maybe they start working together or something like that. Like I think that's going to be kind of cool.
Yeah.
All right. Next up is we have some DC K.O. news. Let's do the Sabrina the Teenage Witch is going to be in DC K.O. Like they just keep adding everybody, but in a cool way. Like I want to see Sabrina. I want that Battle Boss, whatever it's called. I think it's called Battle Boss. Is coming out this month, and I think that's a majority of these crossovers. So, and I think Jeremy Adams is writing it. So I'm very curious how it's going to tie in because obviously no one can win. None of these people can win.
Right. Boss battle. I just looked it up.
Boss battle. Thank you.
Yeah. It's we've got Sub-Zero from Mortal Kombat, Red Sonja, Samantha from Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees, now Sabrina. That's so crazy. I cannot wait to see how in the world this happens. Right?
Yeah.
I want to see Annabelle. I just want to see how that doll kind of fights people.
It's gonna be cool, man. I just hope the fights are like worth it too, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I do too. I hope it's does everything they can with it. Speaking of, let's talk about the Archie going to Oni. This is huge. You know, I think this will actually bring Archie back in the map because it's been a while since they've been really able to do anything. And the creative teams are interesting. They have the Iceman creator on Archie issue 1. And then Sabrina Teenage Witch is, I haven't even heard of these creators. Karina Becco and arts by Kano. And then Archie in Hell is written by the Beneath the Trees writer and artist. And then art is by Taylor Crook. I'm really excited for it. I hope it's everything it can be. And I'm cool. I think it's really cool that they're picking, again, newer creators for it. I want to see what the Oni team up's going to be like. I'm excited that, again, Archie's kind of back because it's been years since they've been able to do like a proper series again.
I have heard of Karina Becco, and I just looked her up. She's done Angels, Star Wars, Green Lantern, Earth One, The Expanse, Avatar. She's done a bunch of stuff.
A lot of IP.
Right. Yeah, exactly. This was such an interesting story when I saw this because this is the first time, I mean, since they've been around since like the 40s and 50s, right? And this is the first time they've ever teamed up with another publisher, which is really interesting. And to reimagine Riverdale and that whole universe in a different way, which they've done so many times by this point, right? And one of these titles, I think, was Archie in Hell, or something like that. Yeah. That's the one written by the Beneath the Trees writer. I'm so intrigued by this. I can't wait to see what they do with it. Yeah.
Especially for you, because you're the resident Archie fan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's cool. I mean, this is a way, like, when you want to restart something or do something again, like, this is the way to do it. This is the way to get new readers on board, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, I'll be checking this out too.
And you're coming from a publisher that's done stuff like, God, I just had it in my head and I lost it.
Scott Pilgrim.
Yes, thank you, Scott Pilgrim, and things like that. So yeah, it's a really good relationship, I think.
Yeah, and I want Oni to be on the map too. I know Mike Manhattan's been mentioning a few Oni books, but I feel like nothing has really hit since Scott Pilgrim. So I want to see them also kind of succeed as well. So I'm excited for that. Next up, I want to talk about the Free Comic Book Day titles. They were released. They are not called Free Comic Book Day. It's called, like, if anyone remembers, Comics Giveaway Day.
Yeah. And
some of the titles I'll read out that have been announced here. And again, it's very similar to Free Comic Book Day, the things they have. Garfield, Gem and Little Pony, Power Rangers, Something's Killing the Children, Avatar, which I'm very excited for because David Boer is on that. And love me some David. Masters of the Universe, Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons, Lock and Key actually is getting by Joe Hill. I don't know if it's a new book, but they got
probably a reprint.
Yeah, it is classic reprint.
Issue,
yeah. So we got Sonic, we got an Ignition Press book. So it looks like they're just promoting one of their new titles. Those are kind of the big titles I'm seeing here. So I mean, here's Marvel. So you got Avengers and X-Men for their kind of bigger book, and then they're doing the Queen in Black and Amazing Spider-Man. So they're promoting the their crossover. And then Armageddon X-Men is going to be the other book. We got Alien for Marvel. And let's see if there's anything else that's here. There's like obviously a lot of books, but those are the big ones that are kind of calling my name here. But yeah, I mean, it looks like it's going to be same old, which is all we can ask for.
Yeah, I mean, be fortunate. We're lucky that we're still continuing this event. So
yeah,
I'm excited for it no matter what.
I agree. All right, let's get into, Brant wanted to talk about this. The Sentry is getting the creator, Paul Jenkins, returning for a new series. I don't think I've read any Sentry stuff, so I didn't have a huge opinion, but
I've always liked the concept of the character and how he got retrofitted into the Marvel Universe. I don't think they did the character justice in the MCU, but bringing back the guy that created the character, I just want to see what he can do with it, if he can make the character relevant again or not. So yeah, we'll see.
He's also doing a Captain Marvel book. The one nitpick I have, these are 2 series, right? 2 series on the shelves, and they're both gonna be nostalgia books, and it's just like,
true.
I want to see a new Carol Danvers book instead of retreading old Captain Marvel stories.
I agree with that, but yeah, I'm curious about what this big secret of hers is, though.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I'll probably pick up the Captain Marvel one just to see, because I guess I'm the problem. But all right, let's get into Let's get into Venom stuff. So we got Venom and Black Cat is going to officially team up, which if you read the previous issue of Black Cat,
right,
we saw MJ and Black Cat talk, but MJ definitely didn't say anything about what's going on with her. So now we see in issue 7, it's going to be tying into the big event. And I mean, it's everything we kind of been saying. It's the one thing that I'm really excited for from Marvel, and I really hope they stick the landing on.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm glad that they're just putting these 2 together. I think that's kind of cool, you know?
Yeah.
I agree. It's going to be fun. Speaking of Venom, so this is also Jordan Morris, who's doing that Predator book. He is writing a new Venom series. It's a whole new Venom. We don't know who they are. It's called Web of Venom. And I don't know how to feel about this, because we already have a Venom. I don't want another one.
Isn't it that character that we saw in the backup story?
I think it's the same one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want it.
Well, I think that's why we got this new blue and red Venom costume, so that they could use it for this character. I think that was kind of the idea.
You're like, you don't want a woman for a Venom? Here's a man.
Yeah,
it's probably what they're doing is like, if you don't like MJ, go read this, I guess, because it's gonna be more classic Venom.
Yeah, I thought it was an interesting backup story, but I don't need a whole book about it.
Sure.
I agree.
All right, let's go into, I was trying to save some DC stuff. So new creative team for Flash and the new Titans. So something, if you recognize for the new Titans, you kind of see the silhouettes. But let's talk about the Flash creative team. Is the creative team of Fantastic Four, or at least the writer is Ryan North, and Gavin Gurdry is doing the art. Who, if you guys saw this like Lake House horror comic that was on Kickstarter this year, it's the same artist doing that. And obviously you see some examples of his art here. He has pretty solid art. And then the new Titans is going to be written by Tate Brombell, who's doing everything dying. Everything dead and dying he's writing. So if you look at the silhouettes, you see Tara, you see Stephanie Brown, you see Wonder Girl, which I'm guessing is the one from, Wonder Woman's daughter. And then you see John. And that excites me. I mean, anything with Stephanie, I'm going to read. So both of them, I'm like, all right, I guess I'm picking up Flash and I'm picking up Titans.
I'll check them out and see. Anything's got to be better than the Titans that we get right now.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
No, I haven't loved the Titans, which is interesting because usually like not Jay. What's his first name? Layman. I mean, it is
John
Layman.
John Layman.
John Layman. Thank you.
Yeah.
Usually like his writing, but has not been as solid for Titans.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm excited about that. I'm a big Stephanie fan too, so glad to see her back.
I'll if it's blank pages, but Stephanie's on the cover, I'll pick it up. All right, next is Aquaman is rebranding, and also there's a lot of Green Lantern stuff coming up. Looks like Carol and Hal might be getting married. The new Aquaman team, or new rebranding, I think is I have to scroll because it's been a while. Let's see. Aquaman is going to be called Emperor Aquaman.
Emperor
he's
Aquaman.
Gonna be, he's going to be the Emperor now. And then Green Lantern, like I said, it seems like it's spoiling, it's teasing some Carol and Hal stuff coming up.
Aquaman's also going into space, which I don't love.
That's interesting.
We'll see how that goes. But,
Aquaman's going into space?
Yeah, he's going to the space, I think is what it said. That's the whole rebrand thing.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting. I haven't been reading Aquaman, so yeah.
It says he begins a conquest across the stars.
Interesting. I don't know if I'm going to be picking up that one, but
I mean, I'll try it just because of what's happened. The cover shows him kind of riding Starro through space.
I did see that. That was interesting.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into the
Joker.
Joker.
It is Jeremy Adams.
Yeah, still Jeremy Adams writing, and he's been writing Aquaman.
Yeah.
Let's go into the Joker returning for Batman, and then you got the Mayor Poison Ivy, which I think we're all gonna start. Me and Brant are gonna start reading this month, which I'm excited for. And then you got Joker back, so I'm excited for that. I've been really liking the current Batman, and we haven't seen Joker in a while, and I'm excited for most of the Bat books. They've been doing a good job.
I think when it comes to the Joker, not being in a Bat book, I think it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's good that we can write other things besides Joker,
I don't disagree with you. So we'll see what that brings. And the Mayor Ivy stuff, I think it's going to bring, again, that's a good example of being different and changing a status quo of a character without drastically changing the character.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, I'm excited to jump back into that. So see what.
All right,
I know Mike's been loving that book, so
yeah.
All right, we got 2 more news pieces here. So the reign of Superboys after DC K.O. But the thing that is very interesting and kind of spoils a little bit of DC K.O. is that Superman's gone, it seems like. And it's them picking up the pieces after DC K.O. So that was the biggest thing I got from what we got here with the solicits.
Yeah. It's also interesting Superboy Prime sticking around to be part of this. Thought that was interesting. So
that they're utilizing Reign of Superboys.
Yeah. Kind of a throwback there, of course. Yeah. And Skylar Patridge on art for action. That's really cool. So yeah, I'll definitely check it out. I'm definitely intrigued by that. Like, where is Superman?
I was shocked they released all these solicits like the day before Christmas. They're like, here's all our DC books coming out and everything happening after DC K.O. I don't think it really spoils anything. Just that Superman maybe doesn't win. Other than that, I don't think it really spoiled too much.
Or maybe he does win, and that's why
he does win, and then you don't see him.
That's why he's gone. All right, our last news piece here is kind of the bigger news I was saving is the numbers that Absolute Comics sold. So I want to read them here because they're just super fascinating. DC says the Absolute Universe has sold over 8.2 million units in total, and Absolute Batman makes up around 35%, close to 3 million. Absolute Batman issue 1 is at its 10th printing with over 300K orders. Absolute Martian Manhunter has received orders in 6 figures, which obviously is one of the lower Absolute titles for popularity. The Absolute Universe has outperformed New 52 and Rebirth. Batman issue 1 has received 500K orders and continues to sell well. So that's outside Absolute. DC Compact line is a huge success, which is their kind of their smaller kind of manga style books that are their bigger titles like American Vampire or Court of Owls. DC has also struck a partnership with supermarket chains that have certain comics, usually first issues, available for sale, which they've been doing for years. What's most interesting to me is that the Absolute Universe made 8.2 million copies. And I thought it was really interesting. Absolute Batman made the majority of it, but still shows that it's not the whole, right? It's 30%. So that means Wonder Woman and Superman are doing well, right? Could be. It's not just Batman holding the fort. And I think these. Why isn't everyone striving for these numbers? And it kind of goes back to the Marvel thing. It's like, look what DC's doing. Look at how comics, obviously outside the Wednesday Warrior, are selling because of the hype here. And I want to see that more for everyone. And honestly,
it shows
I'm sure
you that it is possible
mm-hmm.
to get comics to that level.
Mm-hmm.
And it shows you that if you come out with good comics, that they'll sell, and it's not quantity, it's quality. Like when you look at those titles, the Absolute line, how many titles are there? 6. So you're telling me that 6 comic books, 6 different series have outsold New 52 and Rebirth,
which has like
think about that,
40 titles probably each.
So that tells you something right there.
Yeah, and I think what's interesting and something I reference is that they've been building outlets to do this, right? Because I don't know if Absolute Batman's in Walmart right now, but maybe it is. And those are part of the issue ones they were able to sell in the Walmart packages. They've been building that for years. The compact line, they've been trying to improve their graphic novel game since they've been doing the YA titles that were really successful for them. So they've been building the book market already. So also things don't happen overnight is the answer as well, that they had to build these other infrastructures to make Absolute and their title successful. So, and obviously Scott Snyder being on Batman and the success of Court of Owls and giving a chance to Scott Snyder. But this is just such a success, and it makes me really happy because I hate when people say comics, no one reads comics, right? Comics are failing, and like 8 million copies, that's amazing. Like that's awesome. And you go to these Comic Cons and you see the interest of people. And again, I keep saying about the Absolute universe in particular, how friends I have who are not related in comics in any way ask me like, what's going on in Absolute Batman? I'm like, isn't that crazy? You know what Absolute Batman is, and it's not a movie? Like how the internet has told you about this book and you don't read comics, but now you're interested.
Yeah, no, it's insane. And to this comment that Mike Manhattan made, good comics aren't guaranteed to sell. Also, the Absolute Universe sells because it's all the big characters. Well, so is the Ultimate Universe. So,
and I would argue they're not all the big characters because Martian Manhunter's not a huge character. He barely ever sells usually his regular comics.
Neither
but
is
it doesn't
Joe.
matter. It matter if it's a big character. Like, so you look at it, you just look at Marvel. We talked about it earlier. Look at your Spider-Man. Look at your X-Men. Look at all those big characters, all those big flagship books. They don't sell. They're not selling the way that they once sold. You look at this, these are not even the real forms of the characters that you know. These are alternate versions, right? Yeah. And it sells. And people are buying this that weren't into comics before. Yeah. So something is being done here. That's correct.
I'm sure Skybound's doing a similar thing with like the Invincible show, and then more people buy Invincible comics and things like that. I mean, more people like Invincible want to read Absolute. I mean, what are you gonna say, Brian?
Oh no, finish your thought. I'm sorry, I didn't mean.
The one thing I was gonna say is that because this comment, Hush 2 was selling for a while, but you see the quote for a while. Once you don't have quality, no one continues. But if you have quality, you recommend it to a friend, they buy it. You know, it's a train when you have quality. Because again, an issue 1 of Spider-Man's probably going to sell great. But in issue 5, if it's not, like I mentioned about the Wonder Woman TV show, where it's like, oh, if episode 1 does well and there's word of mouth, it'll do well. If it doesn't, then it'll kind of be dead in the water. You want word of mouth. You need things to be good past issue 5, you know?
Yeah. All I was going to say is the marketing and the build-up played a big part into it as well, and it always does. But once you get past that, like both of you said, you've got to have the quality. You've got to have good stories with, competent creators that can tell these great stories of these characters, great artists that present the characters in a way that it's going to reach multiple, fan bases and that kind of thing. So it was all things firing on every cylinder that kind of made these books a success, and not every other, major character is doing that, because you can have a big number one or a big, creator come onto it, and if the story is not great, people aren't going to stay, just like you both said. So just kind of
Mhm.
reiterating everything. Yeah.
And the creators being excited because every single time a new issue of that Absolute Batman comes out, Scott Snyder's on Twitter talking about it, interacting with fans. When the Joker issue came out, he DM'd me and he's like, "I'm glad you liked it." He didn't have to do that. I didn't even add him, and he's like, "I'm glad you liked that book. That made my day."
Yeah.
That makes my day when you do something like that, and then I want to support you more. So when you're interactive with your fan base, that really helps. They've been doing great with conventions too. Another thing that's really interesting is Absolute Batman issue 1 grew as time went on. It was big when it came out, but I think Absolute Batman, and again, I don't have numbers to back this up, but I think Absolute Batman's bigger now than when it came out for issue 1, which how many titles can say that?
Right. Yeah. It's insane.
Yeah, and I can't.
I was just gonna say, for whatever reason, this line has kind of bridged the gap between different age groups, different fan bases, and everything. It's across the board. It's pulling people in, and it's just
You know what's really cool too is that there are people of color, there are female leads, there are queer characters, and they're all successful and telling really cool stories.
Yeah.
And I think that's really cool because Joe is a queer character, right? And like it's just part of her story, and it's a good book. Well, obviously Wonder Woman is a female lead that we all really like. Joe is also a Black female lead. Like that's really cool that we're also telling really diverse stories. And go woke, go broke. But we just mentioned that Absolute titles are selling 8 million copies, and that's cool. And then like look at when Catwoman showed up, she was really popular. So that's what I'm saying is like if you tell diverse stories well, like those will sell very well too. So I think that's really cool. But I think I see a comment about Marvel. So the Vader says, "I've always been a Marvel fan, especially Spider-Man. I haven't bought a new book in ages because stories were pretty crummy to price increase. That was the real nail in the coffin." I think what's cool about I saw a comment. So someone said in the comments above, like Spider-Man's going to continue to sell, but we see Vader here says like, "I'm not reading Spider-Man." So will it sell continuously? The problem is we don't know the numbers for Spider-Man. So I'd be very curious. Are they dropping? Are they not dropping?
I don't think it's selling nearly as much as it once did.
No.
Based off of at least, I do my League of Comic Geeks show every week, the top 10 most pulled comics. And when you look at what the pull number was at one point compared to what it is now, there's not as many people, I think, putting it on their pull list as they once were. Now, that does not including, obviously, the rest of the planet or people going to the shops and picking it off the shelf or anything like that. But when you look at the Amazing Spider-Man comic book compared to Ultimate Spider-Man, Absolute Batman, Absolute Superman, Flash, they're all beating it. They're all beating that title.
It's crazy.
So it's not even close, even.
And the reason I mentioned Vader is not, Vader is the be all end all. The reason I mentioned him is that he's like, I was a fan, but I'm able to drop it. Like, there's obviously going to be the hardcore fans that are like, I can't drop a Spider-Man book.
Right.
But you only have them. So, that's all you have. You're not growing your audience. And guess what? Maybe some of those hardcore fans will get fed up at some point. And they're like, you know what? I don't want to read this. You're not growing your audience is the point on that one. It's like, you only have the hardcore fans at that point.
Yeah.
It seems like Absolute Batman's outselling everything. I'm also curious, do you guys know the numbers for like Transformers usually does pretty high too? I don't know what the numbers are for that.
Transformers, at least in League of Comic Geeks, is like say 13,000 on the pull list there, or 12,000. I'll give you an instance for Batman, Absolute Batman. We're getting close to where I think it's like at 40,000. And so that's, on one website is pretty impressive. you know, and then all the absolute titles are like in the 20s, 30s, and then everything else is like 15, 14, 13, 12. So
Well, I also
stuff like
think
that.
people go specifically to the comic store to just get absolute titles. I'm sure there's just buyers that only get absolute. So I think that also helps. I wanted to look at Transformers money wise for Kickstarter because that's obviously context we have. But like the Transformers Compendium,
Yeah.
almost $5 million.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
That's
huge.
crazy. And that's just a collection.
Yeah.
Bleeding Cool said in September, Transformers 13 sold 100,000 copies to comic stores. Number 1 had 153,000 advance orders. And that's just those two. I don't know where things are at now. So.
This is interesting. Jeffrey says, what gets me is when I'm in the comic shop, young people have been buying Absolute Batman due to social media, maybe TikTok sales. That's where I've been seeing is a lot of people have been doing TikTok. Another thing, and I think you kind of fight this argument here, Mike, if you exploit NBA, if you're using NBA terms, you're comparing every title to LeBron. But you said, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, that like Flash and those other titles are doing better than Spider-Man.
Every single one of them.
And they're definitely not LeBron.
Right. These are, again, League of Comic Geeks
Sure.
is just one site, and these are not guaranteed sales. These are just things that, these are the books that people are putting on their pull list. So more people are putting on their pull list. They're putting more. There's more people putting Absolute Batman, more people putting Absolute Martian Manhunter, more people. I see it. I see it every single week. I see these numbers. And this particular week,
Arc M, I'm guessing.
What's it called? Arc M was at number 6. Spider-Man was number 9 on the list. So there was 8 other titles that people are putting on their pull list more. X-Men was ahead of Spider-Man.
Skybound as a whole in 2024 sold 4.5 million comics.
That's pretty good. That's about half as much as DC, but like that's still.
But I mean,
DC is making these huge numbers, so that's and also Skybound doesn't have that many titles, you know? If you compare it to the Absolute Universe, though, I think because they just mentioned Absolute Universe with 8 million, so if you compare it to that, then they probably have a similar amount of titles. This is really interesting by Jeffrey. Also, people are buying actual printed copies rather than digital copies, just an observation. Also, I saw a midnight reading party for Absolute Batman in some stores. That's crazy. What's interesting is I had a delivery from the UPS, and the UPS driver kind of knows me at this point because we have so many deliveries. So I was talking about like comic stuff, and we are just talking about like business. And he's like, "Oh yeah, no, like there's someone I like delivered to, and he does comic collecting, and that's his job. Like, he sells copies of that." And I think that helps the physical buying for something like Absolute Batman, because we were just talking about Arc M, where it's like, it's $60 already, it's $80 already. So the spec market's going crazy for it too, because obviously it would. They make a certain amount of copies, and if you have it, then you're gonna make money off of it. So people want to get the physical books for sure, and that's great. We want more physical buyers for sure. But yeah, that's the sales. Obviously, we'll keep looking at it, but it's cool. The moral of the story, cool to see comics succeed, and let's see comics succeed even more in 2026, and let's grow this audience. DC is really doing in that too with James Gunn. His movies, he promotes. I mean, I would love to know the numbers of Woman of Tomorrow and how much they sold at this point because of that movie. That's how you sell your comics too, is by promoting it after your trailers, and you're the guy that everyone's getting their news from is like, go read the comic. I think that helps a lot too. And it's a good time to be a comic fan.
Absolutely.
Cool. I think we're in most anticipated. Brent.
Yeah. All right. So like you mentioned earlier, we've got all different picks, which is crazy. But looking over this list, I think most of them, if not all of them, we're all excited about it, at least at some level. Yeah, so we'll start with our number 3s. I'm just gonna get this one out of the way. X-Men number 23. This is on my list just because I want to know what happens post this, Age of Revelation thing. Cyclops is back, and he has all these memories from this future. I want to see where they go from here. I'm just curious. I'm kind of scared of it a little bit, but I'm definitely curious about it.
I don't even think I'm picking it up. It's just crazy. I don't even think I'm getting X-Men.
You're getting it though, Mike, right?
Yeah, I'm getting it. This is the one that I'll get, and I'll get
Mhm.
the Jed McKay X-Men.
Right.
I don't know if I'm getting Gail Simone's X-Men. I think it's just gonna be the same
It
I
might
same
be.
don't. I think
title.
it will be too. So if
Yeah.
you weren't enjoying it, which I'm gonna see the next arc because I was always in the middle with the Gail Simone run. I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it. So I think I'm gonna
Yeah.
give this next arc and see how I feel about it.
Same. Yeah. Devil on My Shoulder, which we also mentioned earlier in the show, issue number 2. Um, the way issue number 1 ended, I can't wait to see where that goes from here. That's Cats number 3.
Yeah, and I really wanted to highlight it because it is an indie book that many people missed, and it was a really strong first issue about this girl who kind of goes through everything, and now she wants revenge, and it's a really simple story, but the way it engages you, I was really impressed by. So I hope issue 2 continues to that hype because I don't think we talked about it here, but I read American Caper issue 2, and it
Mhm.
was not as strong as issue 1. Like I'll continue it, but I liked issue 1 a lot more.
Yeah. It's not often a book like Devil on My Shoulder appeals to all three of us, I
Yeah.
think, and this one like really made us all kind of sit up and like, oh man,
Yeah,
this is
exactly.
really good, really intense,
Mhm.
but really
You
good.
know,
And then Mike, your number 3 is Wolverine number 14. I'm not reading this, so
it's
yeah,
more like an on the fence book
gotcha.
for me. Because now that we're kind of restarting things with these X books, it's kind of like, well, I like Silver Sable, and she's gonna be in this next
Okay,
story arc. So I'm curious to see like why she's here, how she's teaming up, and it's kind of like, oh, maybe I'll check it out and see how this story arc is to see if I can get back on Wolverine, or if it's something that I don't like, then I'll just drop it again.
gotcha. Okay. Let's go to Cats number 2, which is Batman issue number 5. We're all loving that series. It's a fantastic run so far. I
Yeah.
don't. Yeah, what's happening in this issue? I
This
can't.
issue, I think we're learning more about that girl that was introduced,
Okay,
the
yeah,
the maybe love interest. But honestly, I just want to see where it's going. Like every issue's
yeah,
been really impressive to me, and yeah, I feel like not enough people have been shouting out the flagship of Batman because every other Batman title has been
They're
so good too.
they are going out on a date, and
Yeah,
yeah,
then
yeah,
there's this villain that's going after
that's right.
her.
yeah,
So
which is
that's
really interesting.
yeah.
Right.
So we'll see what happens with that.
And then yours, Mike, is DC Night Fight issue number 3. I felt like issue 1 was a little bit stronger than issue 2, but I'm curious to see, if 3 kind of picks it up. We'll see.
Yeah, I think artistically this is a beautiful book.
Oh, absolutely.
Coloring too. The coloring is really good for
Mhm.
this book.
It's a
Yeah,
fun it's to me it's just like a fun action book, and
yeah.
I in this issue you're going to get Batman facing off against Jason Todd and Dick Grayson, and
Mhm.
what was it at the end of the last issue, like Batman turned into Clayface. Like it was
Yeah,
kind
yeah,
Yeah,
of
yeah, yeah.
crazy.
So
Yeah.
weird.
yeah.
So I'm definitely looking forward to that.
And we have like 2 more issues. Like, how does he get back into the game? That's like
Yeah.
probably the thing
Right?
I'm
And
most interested in.
Yeah.
somehow, some way, he's going to wind up making his way back in that tournament.
Yeah.
And I have
Yeah.
a feeling he's going to be facing off against Joker.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sure because
Of
he
course.
Joker won, which was a little confusing that issue,
It was,
but he won the battle between him and
did
Jason
he
Todd.
though? I don't know. That was very
He
Exactly.
did.
I don't
confusing.
know, but in the chart, they say he moved
Okay.
forward, but
But
in the book, it didn't feel that way.
Right.
yeah, it was like it seemed like Joker died.
Yeah.
Right.
Jason survived, but then he died.
Right.
He
Okay.
died on the like on the gravestone. Like he
And,
literally
Okay.
died.
and
And
then
as soon as
Joker
he died,
revived.
Yeah.
his heart wound up getting revived.
Right.
So they gave the win to the Joker.
You're right.
It was a little convoluted, but
Yeah. I remember reading Jason saying, "I'm sure Joker will find a way to get back into this."
Yeah.
And that's why it was a little confusing. But yeah, I do remember him being awake at the end. Yeah.
And again, if
Uh,
you look at the chart at the end, the Joker
yeah.
continues.
So my number 2 is Amazing Spider-Man number 19, and the reason being is because he's finally going back to Earth and he's
Oh, that's
fighting
good.
Hellgate again. In this
Not
issue.
Hellgate.
Yeah. So I want to see what happens here and if we're getting him back to Earth completely or if this is just kind of a tease that's kind of, pulled the wool over our eyes.
Let's hope that he's getting back there.
Yeah.
It's enough of him in space.
Right.
Well, I think they have to because the Venom event I think happens this month,
It's
right?
soon,
like it's happening
yeah,
it's
soon.
soon.
So they're doing the Peter Parker stuff. You kind of have to, which is crazy. He went to Earth to space for 2 issues, did
Right.
nothing, and then came back.
All right, so Kat, your number one is Venom 253, which we're all excited for.
Yeah, it's again, I can't express to you how pleasantly surprised I've been with this book. The art is flagship art. The book is funny. It moves. It has character work. It's like everything I want from a Spider-Man book, and it's building to this event that I'm really excited for. And I like her pretending to be Spider-Man. I just really like this series a lot, and I
Paul's
didn't
missing.
think I would.
Yeah,
Paul's missing.
And
Yeah.
Dylan is missing. Like, where's Dylan?
Yeah.
Too?
Yeah,
I
apparently something was said at a convention about Paul for this issue, that it was going to be like one of the worst nights of his life or something.
I can't wait.
Oh,
See?
yes.
Yeah.
Definitely
Yeah.
my number one now. And
Right?
again, that's what I love about this series is that this book understands how much the audience hates Paul. So we're
Yeah.
like, let's do someone else bad. And like, that's
Exactly.
so funny. That's funny. Thank
Yeah,
you.
I agree. All right, so my number one is Absolute Superman number 15, because this is the start of a new arc. We're finally done with the whole Ra's al Ghul stuff and everything. And
The
now
last
he's
issue
kind of-
was good.
yeah, the last issue was really good. And so now he's, kind of accepted this is his new life. This is his new, reality and everything. So I want to see where this character goes.
And everyone's dead too. That was something
Yeah.
that was really interesting about the end is that obviously Clark
Yeah.
usually has someone. He has Ma, Pa Kent, and he has Lois. And he's kind of going into this adventure not having anyone. I mean,
Yeah.
he knows Lois, but they're
Right.
not like that. And then Ma and Pa Kent, like they weren't they were important, but they were a different type of important. He obviously doesn't have his parents anymore, his
Yeah.
bio parents. So I think that's a really different story to tell with Superman too.
And he doesn't have that, I forget what his name was, but like that AI
Soul.
soul. Thank you. Yeah. So he doesn't have soul anymore either. So yeah.
You get a new artist on this one. It's Ferreira, who did
Yeah.
the Turtles
Yeah.
with Jason Aaron.
Yeah.
And did you like the art for? Because I
Oh,
didn't read
yeah.
it. So.
Oh, it was
Okay.
really good art.
Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah, he's a fantastic artist. Yeah.
Is
He
Paul
actually-
that bad? Go on, continue
Yes.
first.
No, I was gonna say, interesting tidbit. That artist once drew me in an issue of an image comic called Small.
Oh,
God, I
cool.
believe. If I'm remembering the name correctly, I think so. Yeah.
That's really cool.
Someone correct me if I'm wrong, if that's not the right artist, but yeah.
Is this a replacement artist or is it the new artist for Absolute Batman? I'm guessing it's a replacement artist for like an arc.
I know that he's at least on this issue and the next issue. I didn't know if he's going forward.
Yeah.
That's cool,
I'm
though.
not sure either.
I'm glad we're getting good art.
Did you finish what you were saying, Kat? I couldn't tell if I was delaying.
No,
again. Okay.
no, you're good. I was saying I'm
Okay.
glad we got good art.
Gotcha. I did look it up. That is the artist that drew me into a panel
Oh, cool.
or a page of Small Gods. Yeah, years and
I
years
love
ago.
that.
Yeah. All right. So Mike's number one, our final book to talk about is, of course, Absolute Batman Arc M Special, and we talked a lot about it throughout this episode. But if you have anything else to say,
Who's the main? Is it Batman? Who's the main character? Or are we following someone else? Because obviously it's Arkham, like Asylum. They're going to be exploring, but
I honestly, I don't really know.
I think somebody in the comments said Poison Ivy was going to be in it.
I know she's gonna be in an issue. I don't.
She's gonna be
I don't
in
know if
an
it's this
upcoming
one.
Oh, in an
issue of
upcoming
Absolute
issue.
Batman.
I think it's
yeah.
like 17 or something like that. It's soon. I don't know if it's this one.
Okay.
But
It'd be
we're
cool if
gonna
it's
get.
Harley,
I
though,
think you're
'cause we've
gonna
already
get some
introduced
like
her.
some of like random villains in Arkham, and you're going to see like what origin story are these characters or first appearances of these particular characters. I don't really quite know exactly what it's about, but again, people are freaking out over this book, so I
what
put it on
will
my pull list like a month ago. So
So what I will say is I popped over to League of Comic Geeks and it lists some of the characters in the book. So we've got Batman, obviously. We've got Amadeus and Elizabeth Arkham, but we also have Jack Grimm. So that could be interesting. So we'll have
I think it's gonna be cool. I think it's gonna be a lot like the Joker book. I think it's gonna be like a lot
Right.
of explainy, and then,
Mhm.
which I mean, Joker did it well. I will say Scott Snyder doesn't always do it to my taste. Like sometimes I'm like, all right, let's get to the point. But if it is anything like Joker, I think it's gonna be a solid
I think
issue.
with this Bat book, I think he's been overall doing a pretty good job with it.
Yeah,
I think
with
the
exposition.
pacing has been
Yeah.
decent, right? So
Yeah, no, there hasn't been an issue, I don't think, that I've disliked. There's been some issues where I'm like,
I-
oh, that was the middle of my pile. I wish
I
it
want to
moved a little
say
more.
I think my least favorite was, if I go back, was maybe like the Mr. Freeze issue.
Yeah, I was just gonna
Absolutely.
say that, which is
Yeah.
interesting because a lot of people like that issue, and I remember being really bored by it.
Yeah, that's my least favorite. Yeah, of the entire
Especially now when you see all the other issues now that have come out.
Sure.
If you go back and you sit there and go, what were your favorite absolute Batman issues, and then what are your least favorite absolute Batman? Like, I would love to see people's thoughts on that, you know.
I would like to one day read it, I think, all at once, because that's something that I feel like you just get a different experience of the book that we don't get. Like, obviously, I haven't reread it. Like, I've only been reading it on my monthly basis. I'd be curious what it looks like as a whole.
Yeah. But that's it. That's all the books that we got to talk about. So.
Cool. The one thing I want to mention before we end is that next week I won't be on the show just because I'm going to Disney. Woo! So yeah, I just won't be on the show, but I'll be back after that.
And then I guess Brant and I will do the show. We got a lot more comics to talk about at least next week, which is good. And then we'll see what other news pops out so you never know.
Yeah.
I mean, who knew we were going to get that much news during Christmas?
Right?
We really don't know.
Right.
When I looked at it today to mark it off, I was like, oh my God, or last night, whenever it was, I was like, that's a lot of news.
I looked at it yesterday. I was like, oh shit. I'm like, what the hell does news come from? You know?
No, I was shocked when I was putting it together. It all came like the day before Christmas or the day after. Whenever the solicits happened, that was where all the news came. I was like, whoa, why is this happening right now?
All right, guys. So we're going to wrap it up. So that's it for this evening. So thank you all so much for joining our first episode in 2026. Still got to get used to saying that. But as always, guys, make sure on your way out, please give this video or this live stream a like. It definitely helps. And if you haven't subscribed to our channels, which is Comic Book Corner 2.0, at Only Good Comics and at Comic Uno, guys, go ahead and do that so you don't miss any content from any of us. And as always, guys, thank you so much and happy new comic book day. Enjoy all your comics, and we'll see you all next week. Well, at least Brant and I will. So thank you, guys. Take care. Good night.